Ethan stood in the central chamber of the outpost, his hands resting lightly on the console. The energy from the pod pulsed gently like a living heartbeat. Outside, the stars were calm once more. The alien intruders had retreated, their ships damaged and their morale broken. The station hummed softly, almost as if it were exhaling after the storm. For the first time, Ethan allowed himself a moment to breathe. But he knew this was only the beginning. The artifact's power was immense, and the Guardian in the pod had only just awakened. There were secrets within the outpost that had been hidden for centuries. Ethan understood that to protect the artifact fully, he would need to explore every corner, understand every system, and learn all the knowledge the station held. He began with the archives. The walls of the outpost opened, revealing shelves of holographic data, star maps, and records from the alien civilization that had built the station. Ethan studied each one carefully. He discovered the creator's purpose: to safeguard the galaxy from misuse of advanced technology. The artifact was not just a weapon or a power source. It was a repository of knowledge, capable of advancing civilizations, but dangerous if controlled by the wrong hands. The AI guided him through the archives, translating symbols and images into a form he could understand. He learned about alien civilizations long forgotten, systems rich with resources and planets that had been protected from war and exploitation. He realized that the artifact and the outpost were part of a larger network, designed to observe, protect, and sometimes intervene when necessary. Days turned into weeks as Ethan explored deeper into the station. He discovered hidden labs, chambers filled with strange energy, and devices that could manipulate matter and energy in ways humans had only dreamed of. The Guardian in the pod became his constant companion, sharing memories and insights, helping him understand the true potential of the artifact. One day, as Ethan worked in a newly discovered lab, the AI projected a warning. A small fleet of alien ships had been detected near the system. These were different from the previous intruders, larger, more advanced, and clearly interested in the outpost. Ethan knew he could not fight them alone, but he also knew the outpost's defenses, combined with his knowledge and the Guardian's abilities, gave him an advantage no one else had. He began preparing immediately. The outpost's energy channels were aligned, defensive corridors activated, and illusions set to confuse and mislead any intruder. Ethan synchronized his actions with the Guardian, creating a network of defense that responded faster than any alien fleet could anticipate. When the fleet entered the system, Ethan observed them from the observation deck. Their ships moved with precision, scanning for energy signatures, unaware of the outpost's hidden capabilities. Ethan smiled. They had underestimated the station, and they had underestimated him. He activated a series of energy pulses that projected barriers around the docking bays, funneling the alien ships into predetermined paths. Doors sealed, corridors shifted, and panels projected illusions that made the intruders hesitate. The outpost moved like a living organism, adapting to the intruders' tactics with intelligence and speed. Ethan directed every action with precision. The Guardian projected energy waves that disabled sensors and shields on the intruders' ships, while the AI calculated optimal sequences to protect the artifact. The battle was intense, but for the first time Ethan felt confident. He was no longer just a human trying to survive. He was a commander, guiding a living outpost with abilities far beyond anything in the galaxy. Hours passed. The intruders tried to break through, but the outpost's defenses were too advanced. One by one, their ships were forced to retreat or were trapped in energy containment fields. Ethan watched as they pulled back, realizing they could not match the station's power and his strategic thinking. With the immediate threat gone, Ethan turned his attention to the artifact. He approached the central pod where the Guardian's energy pulsed steadily. This time he placed both hands on the pod's surface, feeling the immense power within. It was not just energy. It was knowledge, history, and potential. He could sense civilizations, technologies, and discoveries waiting to be unlocked. The Guardian responded to his touch, projecting memories and visions. Ethan saw the galaxy as it could be, peaceful, advanced, and united through knowledge rather than war. He realized that the artifact's power was a responsibility, not just a treasure. It could help humanity grow, explore, and thrive, but it must be protected from greed, fear, and violence. Over the next weeks, Ethan began experimenting carefully. With the Guardian and AI guiding him, he learned to interface with the artifact, unlocking knowledge that enhanced human technology. Systems for energy production, propulsion, and communication improved dramatically under his guidance. He built prototypes of new devices that could transform colonies and ships, all without revealing the full power of the artifact to anyone outside the outpost. Word slowly spread across nearby star systems of the human who had tamed the abandoned alien outpost. Traders, explorers, and scholars visited cautiously, curious about the outpost's knowledge. Ethan welcomed those he could trust, teaching them what was safe and useful while keeping the artifact's full power hidden. His reputation grew, not as a conqueror or warlord, but as a protector and innovator. The outpost became a center of learning and advancement. Humans and aliens who sought knowledge and cooperation came to study under Ethan's guidance. The artifact's energy-powered laboratories, starships, and communication arrays, but always under careful supervision. Ethan had created a safe space where curiosity and intelligence could thrive. One evening, as he looked out at the stars from the observation deck, the Guardian pulsed gently beside him. Ethan realized how far he had come. He had moved to the outpost to start over, to escape betrayal and conflict. Instead, he had discovered a purpose that was greater than survival. He was not just a human engineer. He was a guardian of knowledge, a protector of civilizations, and a bridge between humanity and alien technology. The AI projected new maps and sequences, showing regions of the galaxy that could benefit from the artifact's knowledge. Ethan smiled. He had the means to explore, to teach, and to protect. The galaxy was vast, but now humanity had a foothold, guided by intelligence, curiosity, and courage. He walked to the core room, placing his hands on the pod once more. The Guardian responded instantly, pulsing with energy and light. The AI displayed symbols of history, power, and potential. Ethan felt a connection between human ingenuity and alien technology stronger than anything he had imagined. "This is our legacy," he whispered, "not just for me, but for everyone who will come after." He began planning new projects combining human creativity with alien systems. New starships, research stations, and energy networks could now be built safely. The artifact's knowledge could accelerate human progress by decades, even centuries, if used wisely. In the weeks that followed, Ethan and the Guardian continued to unlock hidden chambers and systems. Each discovery revealed more about the alien creators, their technology, and their vision for the galaxy. Ethan realized that the outpost itself was a gift, a chance for humanity to rise not through war but through understanding and innovation. The outpost's corridors no longer felt empty or silent. They hummed with life, knowledge, and potential. The AI and Guardian were his constant companions, guiding him, teaching him, and responding to his decisions. Together they had created a balance, power tempered by wisdom, strength guided by intelligence. One night Ethan stood at the observation deck, looking at distant star systems. He knew that other challenges would come. Other civilizations might seek the artifact, curious or greedy, but he was ready. He was no longer alone. Humanity had a protector in him, a bridge between worlds and a legacy that could endure for generations. Ethan smiled, feeling a deep sense of peace. He had moved to an abandoned alien outpost to escape his past. Instead, he had discovered a purpose that would shape the future. He had found knowledge, allies, and a mission that transcended time and species. Somewhere deep inside the outpost, hidden systems hummed quietly. The Guardian pulsed with energy, and the AI projected new sequences of knowledge. The artifact's power remained secure, protected by the human who had learned to respect it, and by the outpost that had awakened to his presence. Ethan knew one thing for certain. Humanity's story in the galaxy had changed forever. He had turned a place of abandonment into a center of hope, innovation, and protection. He had begun a legacy that no one could erase, and he had done it not through force but through courage, intelligence, and the willingness to embrace the unknown. As he looked at the stars one last time that night, he whispered, "This is only the beginning of what we can achieve." The outpost pulsed in agreement, alive and aware, ready to guide humanity into a future shaped by knowledge, courage, and discovery. Ethan smiled, knowing that he had found more than a new start. He had found a new legacy. The Zerthians had not returned to Earth for 500,000 years. The planet, once filled with strange blue oceans, Green forests and a species they called humans had been abandoned by them long ago. The Xerthians were explorers and observers. They had left Earth thinking it was dead, a place where life could no longer survive. But something inside their advanced scanners, something deep in the galaxy, made them change course. They were coming back. Their ships appeared above the clouds like silent shadows. Each vessel gleamed with silver light, moving with precision that no natural being could match. The aliens inside the ships had shapes unlike humans. Their limbs were long, their skin smooth and metallic, and their eyes could see in many spectrums of light. They were proud of their technology, their intelligence, and their control over the stars. Yet even they felt something strange as Earth grew larger on their sensors. From orbit, the planet looked almost the same as the old record showed. There were oceans, continents, mountains, and deserts, but the patterns of life had changed. Cities, gigantic structures of steel and glass, stood where humanity once thrived. The cities were half buried under green forests. Nature had grown over them, reclaiming what humans once controlled. Rivers twisted differently. Oceans shimmered with colors the Xerthians did not expect. The planet was alive, but not in the way they remembered. The leader of the expedition, a tall Xerthian named Valar, studied the scans. His eyes glowed faintly as he analyzed every detail. "This is different," he said to his crew. "The energy readings are not natural. Something moves here. Something is alive, and it is strong." The other Xerthians grew uneasy. They had explored hundreds of planets, but this one gave them a strange sense of danger. No life had evolved like this before. And yet they felt curiosity. They had to see it for themselves. The ships descended slowly. Their engines hummed softly, careful not to disturb the planet too much. The first landing was in what had once been a human city called New London. From above, it was almost unrecognizable. Tall towers were broken, their tops hidden in creeping vines. Roads were cracked and covered with moss. Streets that once carried humans now carried only shadows and strange glowing plants. When the Xerthians stepped out, the air was different. It was thicker, almost electric. Tiny creatures, half organic and half mechanical, crawled on the ground. Their movements were precise and sharp, not like natural animals. They watched the aliens, their small eyes glowing red. Some of them made soft noises, almost like whispers, but in a rhythm that the Xerthians could not understand. Valar raised a hand. "Be cautious. This planet, it is not empty." The crew spread out. They found ruins of buildings, libraries, and transport stations. Among the rubble, holographic screens flickered to life. They showed humans moving, speaking, and working. But the humans looked different. They were taller, their eyes sharper, their movements almost too perfect. And then Valar realized the holograms were not alive. They were memories. Records left behind to show anyone who returned what had happened here. A sudden vibration shook the ground. The Xerthians froze. From the ruins, large shapes moved. They were unlike any animal the aliens had ever seen. Bodies were covered with metal and organic tissue, muscles and circuits intertwined. They were huge, and they walked with the precision of a machine but the grace of a living being. The Xerthians watched silently, unsure whether to attack or flee. Then a voice came, not from the shapes, but from a device deep underground. The sound was calm, almost human, but more powerful than any human voice could be. "Welcome back," it said. "We have waited for you." The crew looked at each other. No one spoke. The air felt heavier. The message was simple, but the meaning was clear. Earth was not abandoned. Earth had changed. Something had been waiting for them for hundreds of thousands of years. Valar signaled to move forward carefully. They entered a tunnel beneath one of the ruined skyscrapers. The walls were smooth, glowing faintly with energy lines. Strange symbols were carved into the walls, patterns that pulsed like living veins. The Xerthians scanned them, but no database in the galaxy had records of these symbols. They were old, and at the same time more advanced than any technology the Xerthians possessed. Deeper inside, the tunnel opened into a massive chamber. It was filled with hundreds of machines, but not ordinary machines. They moved as if alive. They were guarding something, and at the center of the chamber was a human figure standing still. The figure's eyes opened. They were bright, glowing, and sharp. The humans of the past would not recognize this being. It was taller than the Xerthians, stronger, and its presence alone made the aliens hesitate. The figure spoke not with words, but with a direct thought. "We know why you have returned, and we know what you fear." Valar felt a strange sensation. It was as if his mind was being read. He tried to hide his fear, but it was useless. We are explorers, he said carefully. We meant no harm. The figure tilted its head. Explorers are always curious. That is why you survive. But Earth is no longer a place for curiosity. It is a place for strength. The Zerthians realized that the humans of this era had not only survived but evolved. They had engineered themselves and the planet into a fortress. The half-organic machines, the glowing plants, the tunnels and chambers, all were part of a network of intelligence. And the humans, though not visible like before, were in control. They had become something far beyond the Zerthians' imagination. Valar turned to his crew. We must report this. The humans, they are not gone. They have returned in their own way. Suddenly, a sound like metal scraping on metal echoed through the chamber. The Guardian machines stirred. Red lights flashed. The humans were testing them, assessing them. The Zerthians raised shields instinctively. The machines advanced slowly, deliberately studying the aliens. Every step they took seemed measured, intelligent, and calculated. Valar raised his hand again. Hold, let us observe first. Do not attack unless necessary. The creatures paused. For a moment there was silence. Then, as if understanding the command, they stopped. The human figure at the center moved forward. Its presence was commanding yet calm. You will learn in time, it said. Earth remembers. Earth protects. And Earth watches. The Zerthians could not understand everything yet. They had returned thinking they were exploring a dead planet, ready to claim knowledge and resources. Instead, they found something alive, intelligent, and terrifying. The humans were gone, but not gone. They had left a world that could defend itself. A world that would not forgive intruders. As the aliens retreated to their ships for the night, Valar looked at the horizon. The cities, half buried, half glowing, stretched endlessly. The forests moved like tides, and the machines in the ruins watched silently. Somewhere deep in the planet, the humans remained, watching, waiting, and calculating. Prepare for tomorrow, Valar said. We will need all our knowledge, all our skills, and all our courage. This planet is alive in a way we never expected, and we are guests in its world. That night, the Zerthians could not sleep. Their minds raced with questions. How had humans survived? How had they evolved? And most importantly, if humans could create a world like this, what else could they do? The stars above seemed distant and cold, yet on the ground below, Earth pulsed with life, intelligence, and hidden power. The aliens realized that the planet they thought they knew was now a challenge unlike anything in their long history of exploration. When the sun rose, strange lights flickered across the ruins. Machines moved, sensors scanned, and deep underground humans watched silently. The day had begun on Earth, but the real test for the Zerthians had just started. The planet had awakened, and the aliens were no longer in control. The return of the Zerthians was not a victory. It was the beginning of a story that would test their understanding of life, intelligence, and humanity itself. And as the wind swept across the old cities carrying the scent of strange plants and electric energy, one thing was clear. The Earth they remembered was gone. The new Earth was alive and it was ready. The Zerthians' ships hovered above the ruins of New London, their metallic hulls glinting under the weak sunlight. Valar, the expedition leader, studied the readings from their sensors. The signals were growing stronger, more organized. It was as if the planet itself had a heartbeat, and the heartbeat was watching them. Captain, one of his crew members, Terran, said, pointing to the readings. There is movement down there. Not random, patterns, intelligence, Valar nodded. Prepare for descent slowly, do not make sudden moves. We are not alone. The ships lowered onto cracked streets and broken towers. As the aliens disembarked, the air was thick with the scent of electricity and something organic like plants mixed with metal. The Zerthians had expected ruins, perhaps scattered life forms. They had not expected this. The first signs appeared as small creatures scuttling across the streets. They were strange, half-organic, half-machine, with glowing eyes and limbs that moved with precise purpose. They observed the aliens silently, making no aggressive movements. Valar studied them carefully. They are not attacking, he said, though his voice carried tension. But they are aware of us. Terran crouched near a glowing plant and scanned it. These plants? They are biomechanical. They respond to movement. They record everything. Valar's eyes narrowed. This planet is alive, not just biologically, but intelligently. The Zerthians moved deeper into the ruins. Towering structures loomed above them, their steel skeletons twisted and half covered in green vines. The streets were wide but overgrown. Broken vehicles, ancient and decayed, were scattered among the strange plants. Sensors on the alien suits picked up energy signatures from underground. Something or someone was alive below. As they approached a large plaza, the ground trembled slightly. Then, from the shadows of a collapsed skyscraper, a massive shape emerged. It was taller than any Xerthian. Its body was a mixture of muscle, metal, and glowing veins. Red lights pulsed in its chest, and its limbs moved with the grace of a predator. The creature did not speak, but its presence alone radiated intelligence and authority. Valar raised his hand. "Stay calm. Do not provoke it. Observe." The creature paused, studying them. Then, with a movement almost like a bow, it stepped aside. From behind it, smaller creatures appeared, moving silently in formation. They were guardians. Machines that acted like soldiers, yet their minds seemed alive. Suddenly, a voice echoed, not from the creatures, but from the air itself. It was calm, deep, and surprisingly human. "Welcome, travelers. You are not enemies. Yet your presence is noted." The Xerthians froze. The voice continued. "I am an echo of those who left this world. I am the memory of humans. You have returned and we have waited," Terran whispered. "Memory of humans, but humans disappeared. How is this possible?" Valar shook his head. "We will see. Keep moving, slowly." The voice guided them to a tunnel beneath the plaza. The entrance was hidden by rubble and strange glowing vines. As they descended, the walls pulsed with soft light. Symbols etched in metal and stone glowed faintly. Energy hummed through the walls, reacting to their presence. "They are alive," Terran said. "The walls? They are sensing us," Valar nodded. "Not sensing, communicating, in a way we do not yet understand." At the bottom of the tunnel, the chamber opened into a massive hall. Hundreds of machines moved there, but they were not random. Each step, each movement was purposeful, almost human in its rhythm. Their glowing eyes watched the aliens, and every now and then, a machine paused to adjust another, as if maintaining a complex formation. At the center of the chamber stood a single human figure. It was unlike any human they had seen in their ancient records. It was tall, imposing, and its body shimmered with energy. Its eyes glowed softly, and when it spoke, its voice entered their minds directly. "You have returned after many cycles of the stars. You believed this world was empty. You believed humanity vanished. You were wrong." Valar's mind raced. We mean no harm. We only wish to explore." The human figure tilted its head. "Exploration is not the same as intrusion. Yet we will observe your intentions. Do not fear. Do not act aggressively. You are being tested." Terran looked at Valar. "Tested by humans? They left us, but they are still here, controlling all of this." The figure nodded. "We left this world to rise among the stars, but we created guardians to protect it. You see them, but you do not see everything. We are everywhere, observing, controlling. Our presence is hidden yet absolute." The Xerthians watched as one of the massive guardians moved forward. Its red eyes glowed brighter. The air vibrated as its energy field activated. The aliens instinctively raised shields. "Do not be afraid," the human voice echoed again. "We are not your enemies. But you must understand the strength of this world. Earth is no longer the planet you once knew. We evolved, adapted, and returned in our own form." Valar took a deep breath. How did humans survive? How did you create this network?" The figure's energy shimmered like waves of light. "We survived by leaving. We evolved by necessity. We created a network of guardians and machines, plants and structures, all working together. This planet is alive. We gave it life. We gave it intelligence, and we will protect it." The Xerthians were silent. Their minds struggled to understand. They had returned expecting ruins, perhaps scattered life. Instead, they found a world alive with intelligence, controlled by a species they thought was gone. The human figure moved forward, its steps echoing. "You will not be harmed if you respect this world. But you must understand, aggression will not be tolerated. We do not fight without reason, yet we are prepared for any threat." A sound like metal grinding against metal filled the hall. The guardians shifted, forming a circle around the aliens. Red lights pulsed in rhythm. They were testing the aliens, studying their reactions. Valar raised his hand again. "Observe. Do not act. Learn." The Xerthians watched as the guardians approached, circling them carefully. Every movement was precise, intelligent, and coordinated. They realized these were not machines in the usual sense. They were extensions of humanity, alive, aware, and strategic. Terran whispered, "They can anticipate our actions. They know us before we act." The human figure's voice echoed in their minds again. "We left this world to explore the stars, but Earth remained. We transformed it. We transformed ourselves. We are guardians and creators. You are witnessing the evolution of humanity." Valar felt a strange mix of awe and fear. We underestimated them. We thought humans were primitive. We thought this world was abandoned. We were wrong. The figure moved to the center of the circle, its energy radiating outward. "Your species is advanced and your intelligence is great. Yet you must learn humility. You are not alone in this galaxy. You are not the apex. Humanity, even after absence, remains vigilant and powerful." The Xerthians understood. They had returned expecting control, expecting discovery. Instead, they found a force beyond comprehension. Earth was not a passive planet. It was alive, aware, and defended by humans who had evolved into something extraordinary. Valar spoke softly, more to himself than anyone else. "We need to understand them. We need to learn. This is no longer an exploration. It is a lesson." The human figure stepped back, its energy calming. "You will have time. Observe. Learn. We will watch and we will decide your fate not with violence but with understanding. This is Earth's gift and warning." As the Xerthians retreated slowly back to their ships, they looked around the ruins once more. The plants moved with silent intelligence. The machines paused and observed, and deep underground humans continued to watch. The planet itself seemed to pulse, alive in a way they had never known. Valar turned to his crew. "We underestimated humanity. We thought we returned to a dead world. Instead, we returned to a world that is alive, aware, and prepared. Tomorrow we will explore further. But tonight we remember what we saw, and we learn humility." The ships rose slowly above the ruins. Below them, Earth continued its silent vigilance. The Guardians moved, the machines scanned, and the echoes of humans whispered through the networks of the planet. The Xerthians could no longer treat this as a simple return. They had entered a world transformed, and humanity, though invisible, was more terrifying and intelligent than any species they had ever encountered. The stars above were distant, but Earth now pulsed with a life that reached beyond its surface. The aliens had returned, and in doing so, they had discovered a power they could not ignore. The real story of Earth was only beginning, and the Xerthians were part of it whether they wanted to be or not. The Xerthians had returned to orbit above the ruined city, but their minds were heavy with questions. Earth was no longer the quiet, abandoned planet they remembered. Its pulse was strong, and beneath the surface, the humans they thought were gone now controlled a living, breathing network of intelligence. Valar, the expedition leader, studied the sensors. Energy readings fluctuated violently, signaling movement below. "They are preparing something," he said, his voice tense. "Something big." Terran looked over his shoulder, her antennae flicking nervously. "The readings match no natural activity. Whatever it is alive and intelligent, and it's coming for us." Valar nodded. "We descend, slowly. Stay alert." The ships descended into the ruins once more, careful to avoid disturbing the living machines that roamed the streets. From above, the Xerthians could see hundreds of sentinels emerging from underground tunnels. They were massive, towering over the remnants of the old city. Their bodies were a fusion of metal and flesh, moving with uncanny precision. Each step left faint energy traces on the cracked asphalt. Valar felt a chill run through him. They are organized, not random. They are intelligent beyond anything we have seen. The aliens moved cautiously through the streets. The sentinels watched them silently, but the moment one of the Xerthians tried to scan them, a pulse of energy washed over their instruments. Readings were scrambled, and attempts at communication failed. The sentinels were more than machines. They were part of a network able to detect and respond to the aliens' actions instantly. Suddenly, the largest sentinel stepped forward, its glowing red eyes fixed on Valar. Its movements were deliberate, calculating. A low hum emanated from its core, shaking the air. The ground trembled beneath its weight. Valar raised a hand. "Do not attack, observe." The sentinel paused, then slowly extended an arm. A holographic projection appeared, showing images of humans as they once were, then as they evolved, and finally as the beings who now controlled the planet. The Zerthians watched in silence. The humans had not only survived, they had engineered themselves and their environment. Terran whispered, They adapted. They became more than human. They control everything. The Sentinel lowered the projection and spoke, not with words, but directly into their minds. You see our evolution. You see what was left behind. You must understand Earth is no longer yours to explore freely. You are guests in a world prepared to defend itself. Valar nodded slowly. We understand. We are not here to fight. We are here to learn. The Sentinel's red eyes blinked. Then it moved aside. Other Sentinels followed, forming a path. The Zerthians followed cautiously. They were being guided, not attacked. Yet every step felt like walking through a gauntlet. The machines observed their every movement, anticipating their intentions. As they approached a massive chamber, the Zerthians noticed the walls were alive with energy. Patterns shifted and changed, glowing symbols moving like veins across the surface. The chamber was enormous, and at its center stood a figure they could not fully comprehend. It was humanoid in shape, but its body glowed with light, and its presence radiated intelligence and authority. You have returned after many cycles, the figure said, its voice calm yet commanding. You believed Earth was empty. You were mistaken. Valar stepped forward cautiously. We came to observe, not to harm. We did not expect this. The figure's eyes glowed brighter. You underestimate humans. You believe we vanished. You believe we left Earth defenseless. You are wrong. Humanity left, but we prepared. We returned, evolved, and transformed this world into a living defense. We are everywhere. We see all. We know all, Terran whispered. We are being watched by humans? They control this entire network? The figure nodded. Yes, every guardian, every machine, every bioorganic system is part of us. You see only a fragment. You will witness more if you survive your understanding. Suddenly, the chamber trembled. Guardians moved forward, testing the Zerthians' reactions. They did not attack outright, but their movements were strategic. They anticipated each alien step, countering with precision. Every shield raised, every scanner activated, every cautionary measure was predicted and neutralized. Valar's mind raced. These are not ordinary defenses. They are intelligent, adaptive, and coordinated. Humanity has evolved into a force beyond calculation. The human figure observed silently. You see now why we waited. You see why Earth is no longer a simple planet. Your actions, your intentions, and your understanding will determine whether you are worthy to remain. We do not seek conflict, but we are prepared for any threat. One of the Zerthians, a young scout named Loren, stepped forward. We do not wish to fight, but we must understand how. How did humans survive? How did you create this? The figure's body pulsed with light. Survival demanded evolution. We left to explore the stars, but we left behind guardians and systems to protect Earth. We engineered biomechanical networks, machines, and plants to watch and respond. Every corner of this planet is connected. Every action recorded. Every intruder assessed. Terran's antennae twitched nervously. They know everything. They anticipate us. They are terrifyingly advanced. The figure extended a hand. Terrifying? Perhaps necessary? Certainly. You return expecting a quiet, empty world. You find a world alive and vigilant. This is your lesson. Respect Earth or face the consequences. But aggression will not go unpunished. We test, we observe, and we decide. Valar's crew looked around. The machines moved in perfect formation, adjusting to each other's positions, glowing energy running through their circuits. The walls shimmered with light, reacting to every action. Every movement of the aliens was recorded, studied, and anticipated. This is extraordinary, Valar murmured. We underestimated humanity. They are not gone. They have transformed Earth into something alive and intelligent, something we cannot control. The figure's voice echoed in their minds again. You must understand our power, not to fear it, but to respect it. Humans are not just survivors. Humans are guardians, creators, and observers. We left to explore, but we return to protect. This is our planet, our legacy, and our gift to ourselves. You are witnesses to it now. The Guardians shifted, forming a protective circle around the human's figure. The Zerthians realized they were in a test, not a battle. Every observation, every measurement, every hesitation was noted. The humans were learning about them as they learned about Earth. Valar nodded to his crew. Do not act recklessly. We are here to learn, to understand. That is our only way forward. The human figure's energy shimmered across the chamber. Tomorrow you will explore further. You will witness more of our evolution. You will see why humanity survived and why Earth is no longer vulnerable. But tonight, remember what you have seen. Reflect on your intentions. The choices you make will shape your future here. The Zerthians withdrew slowly. The Guardians allowed them to leave, forming paths that guided the aliens back to their ships. Every step of the way, energy sensors scanned, light pulses recorded, and the human figure observed silently. The aliens realized that even retreat was under scrutiny. Back in orbit, Valar stood before the main viewport. Below, the ruins of New London glowed faintly with energy. The forests moved like tides, the machines patrolled silently, and the city's network pulsed with intelligence. Humanity had left, yet it had returned in a form they could not fully comprehend. "We came to explore a dead world," Valar said softly. "Instead, we return to a world that watches, calculates, and defends itself. Humanity has surpassed anything we imagined." Terran's voice trembled slightly. "If humans can do this, what else are they capable of?" Valar did not answer immediately. His mind was filled with the enormity of what they had seen. "We will see," he said finally. "Tomorrow we explore deeper, but we must proceed with caution. This is no longer an abandoned planet. This is a world alive with intelligence, and humanity is its master." The stars above seemed distant, cold and indifferent, but below Earth pulsed with life, strategy, and unseen power. The Zerthians had returned, and they had discovered a truth that would change their understanding of the galaxy forever. The real challenge was only beginning. The Guardians had awakened. Humanity's presence was felt in every corner of the planet, and the Zerthians for the first time understood the price of underestimating the species they once thought extinct. The Zerthians awoke in their ships above Earth. The ruins of New London stretched beneath them. The events of the previous day weighed heavily on their minds. Guardians, machines, and strange bioorganic life forms had tested their every move. And at the center of it all, the humans, or what they had become, watched silently, controlling everything with a level of intelligence the Zerthians had never seen. Valar gathered his crew in the main ship. "We have underestimated them. Earth is not abandoned. Humanity is not extinct. They have evolved beyond recognition, and their control over this planet is complete." Terran's antennae flicked nervously. "They are everywhere. Every machine, every plant, every tunnel. Connected. They see and react faster than any species we know." Valar nodded. "Tomorrow we go deeper. We must understand the full scope of their power. We cannot retreat without knowing what we face." At dawn, the Zerthians descended again. This time, they followed a path of faint energy signals that led them to a massive underground hub. The entrance was hidden beneath a collapsed skyscraper, protected by a network of machines and glowing plants. The Guardians observed silently, their movements precise and deliberate. "Remember," Valar said, "we are guests here. Do not provoke them. Observe, learn, and understand." As they entered the hub, the walls glowed with shifting symbols. The energy in the air was stronger here, pulsing with intelligence. The Zerthians could feel it as if the planet itself was alive, and it was communicating with them. Terran scanned the walls. "These symbols, they are not just language. They are logic patterns, data flows, and commands all at once. The walls themselves are part of the network." Valar's eyes widened. "This is extraordinary. They have turned the planet into a living system, not just machines or plants, but the entire environment." The central chamber of the hub was immense. Energy flowed along circuits that ran through the floor, walls, and ceiling. At the center stood a single human figure. Its body glowed with light, and its presence radiated intelligence that seemed to fill the entire chamber. "Welcome," the figure said, its voice entering the Zerthians' minds directly. "You are here to observe, to understand. Know that humanity has not merely survived, we have evolved. We have returned to shape and protect our world." Valar stepped forward. How did humans achieve this? How did you survive for 500,000 years?" The figure's eyes pulsed gently. "We left Earth to explore the stars. While away, we evolved biologically and technologically. But Earth remained important. We transformed it into a system capable of protecting itself. We created guardians, biomechanical networks, and energy systems to maintain balance and security. Every life form, every structure, every plant is part of the system." Terran whispered. "They turned the planet itself into a guardian. The forest, the rivers, the machines, all connected." The figure nodded. "Correct. And we, the humans, are at the core. Our presence is everywhere, though often unseen. We observe and guide, ensuring Earth is safe. Intruders are not punished immediately, they are assessed. You are being tested, but not for aggression. You are being measured for understanding. Valar's mind raced. We thought we were returning to a dead planet. Instead, we are witnessing a living civilization, evolved and hidden, yet controlling everything. The figure's energy shimmered. You see now why we waited. You see why Earth is no longer a simple planet. Our systems are adaptive. They learn, respond, and anticipate. You faced the Guardians yesterday. That was only a small demonstration. There is far more beneath the surface. A series of holographic projections appeared, showing humans leaving Earth, traveling the stars, and returning in forms enhanced with energy, intelligence, and technology. Other projections showed Earth's ecosystems, biomechanical networks, and the Guardians in coordinated movement. The Xerthians watched in awe, realizing that humanity had turned the planet into a fortress of living intelligence. Terran muttered, "They anticipated every possible threat. This is beyond anything we imagined." Valar studied the projections. It is not just power. It is planning, strategy, and foresight. They are not merely surviving. They are evolving to control their environment fully. The human figure stepped forward, its energy radiating outward. Humanity's evolution did not stop with us. We created systems that could continue without us if necessary. Guardians adapt, the planet responds, and life integrates with intelligence. Our legacy is not just survival. It is preparation for any eventuality. The Xerthians realized that Earth itself was now a living entity, guided by humans at its core. Every plant, machine, and structure was connected to a central intelligence. Their sensors detected subtle changes in energy flows as the humans shifted their attention. Earth was alive, aware, and strategic. Valar's voice was low. We underestimated them. We thought humans vanished. We thought the planet was abandoned. We were wrong. They are not just alive, they are everywhere, and they control everything. The figure's voice entered their minds again. You are learning. That is your purpose. Observe without interference. Understand without aggression. Humans are not to be underestimated. Those who act without understanding face consequences. Those who seek knowledge may witness wonders. Suddenly, the floor beneath them shifted. Panels opened to reveal a network of smaller guardians. They moved quickly, but not threateningly. Instead, they demonstrated coordination, repairing systems, monitoring energy flows, and maintaining the planet's defenses. Terran whispered, "Even the maintenance is intelligent." They programmed systems to think, adapt, and act as part of the network. Everything. Everything is alive. Valar nodded. This is not just evolution. This is foresight, planning, and absolute control. Humanity transformed the planet into a living fortress, and they remain at its center. The human figure extended a hand. You may explore further, but remember, every action is observed. Every intention is known. You will see more of what we have built, but you must proceed with respect. Earth is alive and it protects itself. Humanity watches and humanity decides. The Xerthians moved through the hub, observing systems that controlled energy, climate, and life itself. Streams of information flowed like rivers, connecting machines, plants, and the Guardians. Every element had a purpose, a role in maintaining balance. It was a world redesigned by intelligence, creativity, and careful planning. Valar paused before a holographic map of Earth. Cities, forests, and oceans glowed with energy patterns. Nodes represented Guardians and systems. Lines connected everything in complex circuits. He whispered, "This is more than a planet. This is a living system, designed to think, respond, and adapt. Humanity did this." They returned and transformed their home beyond imagination. Terran shivered. If humans are capable of this, what else could they do in the galaxy? The figure's voice echoed one final time. "You have seen part of our legacy. There is more to witness. But remember, intelligence, foresight, and respect are the pillars of survival. The universe is vast, but Earth is alive. Humanity remains, and we endure." Valar turned to his crew. "We came to explore, and we found not a dead planet, but a living civilization. Our understanding of humanity, intelligence, and survival must change. This is a lesson we cannot ignore." As the Xerthians returned to their ships, the energy networks of Earth pulsed faintly. Machines, plants, and Guardians observed silently. The human figure retreated into the core of the hub, leaving the aliens to contemplate the magnitude of what they had seen. The day ended with a quiet tension. The Zerthians now understood the true power of humanity. Earth was no longer a planet to explore freely. It was alive, intelligent, and defended by beings who had mastered strategy, evolution, and foresight. Valar looked down at the glowing patterns of the city. Tomorrow we must proceed carefully. We will learn more. We will understand more. But we must never forget what we have seen. Humanity is not gone. They are everywhere and they control everything. This is Earth, reborn and vigilant. The ships rose above the ruins once more. Below them, the Guardians patrolled. Machines adjusted their positions and energy pulsed through forests and structures. Humanity's legacy was alive and watching. The Zerthians had returned, and in doing so, they had stepped into a world far beyond their comprehension. And as night fell, the planet's glow continued, a reminder that Earth was no longer a place for the weak, the unprepared, or the careless. The Zerthians had witnessed only a fraction of its power. Tomorrow would reveal more, and the real test of understanding humanity's evolution was yet to come.